All right, we're back now. So sorry about that. Hopefully Ray comes back with us.
Well, I was the last to leave the room, and Ray was there, or his camera was still there. I think he went to go get a beer or something.
Oh, I'm gonna probably do that too. Now that we broke down the fourth wall that way.
Well, I could talk about videos without having you show one. So that's
What if we go rogue and we do it like we just show it? We're just like, hey, here you go.
No, we don't have to see the video. I'm not even. I'm too frightened by Facebook now.
Oh, now you're.
Yeah, don't even bother.
Yeah, but can you guys can you reshare the new link if you have a link on Facebook? Yeah, hang on. I'm gonna see if I can get some Pacificos delivered.
Going super lazy. All right, where do we leave off?
Okay, we left off talking
Peter Gabriel.
We talked about Peter Gabriel, Ray's Choice, and you were talking about that series, which sounded friggin' amazing.
It is. It's intense. Classic albums. If you have Amazon Prime Video,
yeah, definitely,
it's included in your thing. Just type out classic albums, and there's about a dozen of them. Fleetwood Mac, Rumors is fantastic. They literally, the producers, the artists, Tom Petty's Damn the Torpedoes. They sit in front of the board and they break it down.
VH1 used to do a series like that.
It's the same series. It's the same series.
But
now you can access it.
I never saw Peter Gabriel's, but I saw the Meatloaf one, and I've seen a few others. They are pretty amazing.
What are you playing next, Pete? What video are you playing next? What video are you playing next?
No, we're not.
It's on Facebook. Play 20.
We tried to play.
We're going to act out the video with puppets now. That'll keep us safe.
Just to update anybody who's caught up with us now, we were live, and then we got banned from Facebook because we were playing music videos, which we are talking about music videos. So, but whatever.
Matter.
No,
who runs that? Governor Murphy?
It was Murphy shut us down.
All right, so we talked about Peter Gabriel. Mike, you've talked about Peter Gabriel as being somebody that you're into. Was that song, I don't know if I asked you this because of the whole cutoff and all that, but was that song the Sledgehammer video and all that? Do you remember that or not really?
Oh, I mean, if you watch any kind of music videos, it's arguably the greatest video of all time, especially because of the technology. Like nowadays, that technology, most of us could do it on our phone. But what they did, what year is that? 86, 87?
86.
86. I mean, what they pulled off
86.
34 years ago with the technology that was available at the time. I hate to always drop this hint, but I talk about that in my book on the state of music, and it is amazing.
It just took the second segment for him to.
He literally had paint on his face and got a rash from the paint that was on his face. Like nowadays, you wouldn't need to do that; it could all be done with effects. But back then, it was kind of old school what they had accomplished.
Even in that classic album series, they go over how he made that video too.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
What else is on Chris? I'm not that familiar with it.
Don't Give Up. Is Red Rain.
Red Rain on that?
In Red Your Rain. Eyes.
Oh, what a great album.
Oh, it's a phenomenal album.
Hey, Mike, I don't know if we talked about this enough, but if someone wants to order your book, where can they?
No, stop.
Where may someone get your book, Mike?
You can go to my website on the state of music or find me on Amazon. Thank you.
And don't make the check out to Mike Walters. It's just Mike Walters.
No, I'll cash
it
with the S on the end.
There it is.
Find Mike's email him and say, hey, what the hell do I have to do to get your book? Maybe like the Tom Raider, John Lennon, he'll just send you a free one. So how does that go, Mike? Did you ever send John Lennon a free book?
He never sent me his address. I told him to send me his address. He never did.
Yes.
Apparently, he didn't want my book.
Tammy asks, what am I drinking? That's my cousin. It's good to see you, Tammy. I'm drinking a spicy pineapple margarita that I made.
Tammy looks young. No, that picture, she looks young.
All right, so let's move. Tam, I hope you're doing well in this crazy virus situation. Okay, Chris, now let's ask you, man. The video that you gave me was Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yeah, but I got other ways to go now. You couldn't find the videos I was going to talk to you about.
Oh, okay.
I watched, like, you know how Mike didn't have cable growing up? I had too much cable growing up in the suburbs, okay? growing up, they didn't have MTV yet.
Mhm.
Okay. And there was a group called M, which most people remember for pop music. New York, London, Paris, Munich.
Everybody's talking
he
about
made-
pop
yeah.
music.
He made a whole string of videos, and Nickelodeon, the channel Nickelodeon, the kids channel,
Yeah.
used to go off the air at like 10, 11 o'clock because it was all kids programming. So it would end at like 10 or 11, and then they would have nothing but like video shows.
Mhm.
So you had Huey Lewis go on singing, "Sooner or later will you say I love you," all the Pretender stuff, like really early on, like video stuff, way before MTV started.
Right.
And that's like my earliest thing with the videos. I remember just sitting there going, wow, this is awesome. I'd wait till like 11 o'clock. I mean, even NBC would have Friday night videos.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Chris. That was my introduction to videos. Friday night videos on NBC. You and I are about the same age, right? I
Yeah.
just turned
Mhm.
54. Yeah, and that was without MTV. I think that was a 1-hour show, and that was
Yes.
every week we would just tune in to watch the videos that everyone else was talking about.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I had MTV. I grew up like Chris said, with so much cable, so I
Yeah.
had MTV. I mean, all the Stones videos back in the early '80s. The one I was going to share was "Waiting on a Friend," which I
That's
do.
an amazing
Great
video.
No,
Yeah,
my
amazing
God, great
video.
That's what I was going to share, but I'm not going to press the button. Because I'm too
Do
scared.
it.
No,
I actually played a gig in that St. Mark's bar where they filmed that video.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. I took what's interesting about it. Well, first off, I love the video. It's such a well done music video. I think for that time period, it's probably one of the better ones. But I do feel like a lot of the early videos was very like literal. You know what I mean? Like I'm just waiting in the doorway. You got to see Mick waiting in the doorway. I'm just waiting on a friend. He's waiting for Keith to get there. You know,
Right.
There was a very. This is the script. This is the song. We're just going to show everything that happens.
Right.
I mean, you could script one of these videos out. It's like was so disgusting. And then as you got further along, it's like now we cut to a 2-shot with the whole band standing on a dock in front of the bay, and they're all going to play and do their best pose. And then out of nowhere, we're going to go to a cut of a unicorn. And then we're going to come back to the band.
Yeah.
And it's like, where did this unicorn come out of? But it's going to be real cool in the edit, man. Just trust me.
What was cool for me is when I did a docuseries, Her Name is Chef, and we had to go to fun locations that sort of like identified with the chefs. And I thought Elizabeth Faulkner was super rock and roll. So I took her to the St. Mark's bar and that the stairway where that Mick stands on, and we kind of like tracked the walk. The bar is closed now, but Chris, you said you played in the bar.
Yes.
Tell me
They
about
used
that.
to
How
have-
long ago was that?
They used to have this cool like jam around the corner from the bar. There used to be the greatest place ever that's closed now too, of course, called the Yaffa Cafe. And that place was fantastic. And then what you do, you go in to the St. Mark's bar, and there's literally just a bunch of like jazz and rock musicians playing.
Yeah.
And it's cool because it's the same language. And you just sit down and you jump in on the chord progression that they're doing. But the coolest thing you ever see is like when the jazz guys, when those cats would go, and you're sitting there and you're having a drink, some guy would just walk off the street with his horn on his back in a case. And he'd open up the case, and this band is just jamming. They're playing, they're going around. I don't even know the song. It's like, but they know the progression. They're just jamming. Everybody's taking, 8 bars, 16 bars. And this guy's putting together his horn and everything like that. The next thing you know, once he's got the horn together, he's next up to start soloing. Like right from the street, puts the horn together out of the case and just jumps in with the band. It was
that's
so cool. And they had a mural of the Stones painted on the wall.
Oh yeah, because I mean that must have identified them from that moment forward as
that made that bar iconic.
Yeah, like I know it was a Stones bar for a hot minute, and now I think it's closed. I don't know if something else is coming there, but you just reminded me. I'll share a Stone story for you guys. I told you one time that my dad's friends with somebody that works with Keith Richards. I'm not going to get into the whole specifics of that, but one night we were in. They took us to. He came out. We went down to. I think it was in. Maybe not Charlotte, but whatever, something else in Carolina. I can't think of it. And we went to the gig, and it was in a beautiful hotel. The Stones, of course, stay at these big, beautiful 5-star hotels. And so we stayed there too. He got us he hooked us up with the room and whatever. And so now we go downstairs to eat, and Mick and Keith are at not together, but they're both at the restaurant, so Mick's outside with a group of people. Keith is in the back room eating in the restaurant. So my dad and I are just in the middle of this restaurant, in between, Mick over here, Keith over there. So now the waiters keep going to Mick's table, and they keep bringing bottles of wine, and then they'll take the other bottle back. So it appeared to me that there was a lot of chaos about Mick not liking. Can you imagine them pouring a glass of wine? I've never said no, I don't like it, but Mick is literally turning down bottle and bottle of wine. It's literal mad chaos in the room. Waiters are running around in circles. Out of nowhere, there's a piano in the room. A man walks into the room, and I thought he was the piano player. He just jams in on Angie. He just, boom, Angie. I was like, that's really fucking crazy. Like, in the middle of all of this guy's playing Angie. 2 security guards. He's pull the man out of the piano. He's not the piano player. He's just a man that saw the chaos and went to the piano and started playing Angie on it. I was like, what the fuck has happened here?
Do you know why Mick turned down all those bottles of wine?
I just because he probably can. You know what I mean?
Because he's Mick. Exactly.
Did you meet him, Pete? Did you meet him?
I've never met Mick. I've met
Jagger.
Yeah, I'll share those later on one other day. But yeah, I mean, it was. And then, of course, Keith came walking through, and he was like, he is so oblivious to anything that's happened with the man with the piano. He just doesn't know any of it. He's like, and then that was it. But I was just like, man, like when the dude hit the piano, I said to my dad, I was like, this is really fucking a little bit inappropriate. The piano man's playing Angie. You know what I mean? Like, isn't that a little bit too much? Do you think they want to hear it right now? 2 security guards pulled him right out of the room. I'm sorry, that was a left field thing, but you reminded me of that when you were telling that story about people just coming in to play it with the band and whatnot. Yeah.
Billy Joel says he can't stand walking into piano bars because when he first walks in the door, the first thing that happens is the guy breaks into Piano Man. And he'll be walking in and hear, and he's like, and the funny thing is the song is just the same thing over and over again. It just shifts an octave.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's like, now where are you going to go, dude? There's no bridge. There's no nothing, just.
I heard Kevin Bacon say once when he goes to a wedding, he walks up to the DJ and gives him $100 and says, please don't play Footloose tonight. Please.
I love that. I heard a Billy Joel story that a friend of mine shared with me once. The accuracy, I don't know, that he was with, I think it's from a Food Network person, so I think it's a true story, that they were out to dinner with Billy Joel, and they were friends, and then they brought another friend, like a mutual friend just got the invite by chance. And so at the end of the dinner, he said to Billy Joel, can we take a picture? And Billy Joel said to him, you want to be a fan or do you want to be a friend? You want to be a fan?
Oh.
I'll take the picture. You want to be
That's
a friend?
good.
I'm not taking the picture.
Oh.
So, and you know what? I'm like,
Good for
I'm
him.
down with that. You know what I mean? I'm okay with that. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
I dig that.
Did they take the picture?
I don't think so. I feel like he was even dating somebody that was in Billy Joel's family. I think that's a part of the story. But I was
awkward that after can I take a picture? Well, are you a friend or are you a fan?
Yeah, I could totally. Oh well, Billy Joel's also. got
It's a total ego thing, though. It's like I don't want to be the fan. I want to be the friend now. Like,
right. Billy Joel's got that. He told on Howard Stern that the big shots about Mick Jagger, that they went to dinner with Mick Jagger and Bianca, and that he was acting like a big shot or whatever. So
isn't there a saying out there that you really shouldn't meet your idols?
Yeah.
No, honestly, like you meet your idols and they just kind of like let you down, Yeah. You saw this when VH1 was doing some of those behind the music stuff, and you found like for me, my idols, I grew up on the corporate rock of Styx and Journey and all of that stuff, and you find out like, wow, Steve Perry's an asshole. You know, or
The voice of an angel, though. It's got the voice of an angel.
oh, absolutely. But like
Yeah.
when you hear like what goes on, and then Dennis DeYoung, like and you're sitting there and you're like, wow.
I
That
guess
kind of breaks my
the
heart.
waiter that was so excited that Mick Jagger was at his restaurant was probably not happy with Mick with all those those bottles
So
being
true.
open and the
But it's all about the story. Now he's got that story for the
Oh, for sure.
how he ran circles around Nick for the wine.
like literal people running all over the restaurant. The only people that mattered was Mick's table. That was it. You know, other people are waiting for shit. It's not happening. All right. Okay. Back to some. So you did pick Thriller though too. Do you want to talk about Thriller?
Good song.
Thriller was one of those videos. The reason why it had such an impact, and I picked it for you, is because that was must-see TV.
Yeah.
And of course, they were playing it like at specific times. And I know friends of mine that cut school to go home just to make sure that they would not miss the world premiere video of Thriller.
Did
Yeah.
it come out during like a Halloween time?
No,
I don't
it came
think-
out in like May, like
Yeah.
something weird like that. And it just coincided with the release of the song.
Oh,
But
yeah, like I wasn't allowed to see it because it was scary. My mom was like, "I don't think you can watch this."
It was.
the production was unlike anything else going on at the time. Like I said, like a lot of the production was lens flare, handheld video cameras, band on the beach, cut to the unicorn running across the beach, back to the beach. Now we're going to have a room full of curtains, and we're going to have the fan just blow the curtains into the room, and somebody just throw leaves in, back to the band. This was the first thing that was done. It was directed by John Landis.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, it was directed by a Hollywood director. Was it Kevin Baker, Ray Baker,
Yeah.
the makeup artist,
The costume
yeah,
guy.
the makeup.
Baker. Yeah, it was Rick Baker.
Rick Baker. I mean, one of the top world-renowned makeup artists. To do the transformation into the cat creature and like just the whole concept of the thing. Multi-million-dollar video, worth the risk. I mean, listen, the guy had the top selling, still selling today, the damn album.
Yeah.
So it was worth to pay all that money, and he was right. He took a risk at that time. It's like, listen, I'm going to throw all this money at this thing, at this brand at that time brand new medium. He was one of the only black artists to be played on MTV.
Mhm.
At that time, there was like Billie Jean was the only black artist played on MTV.
Yeah.
And he actually broke down the wall to have more future black artists played on it. So for its time, it was very impactful.
Thriller was cool.
Okay. I said waiting on a friend. Tim, what was yours?
I submitted 2 videos. Should we do both of them? We're doing 2 first right now because we
Just
don't
do,
have the video.
just do which one you'd like to pick first. Yeah.
Oh man, should I throw it out to the crowd? All right, I'll do the first one first, and I'll do the second one second. That seems like a good thing. You know what I'll do it without audio. That way, Facebook can't find us.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So this
Is
is
that Green Day?
yeah.
Nice.
So I think
We
lot
always
of people,
go, the 4 of us, the 3 of us, whatever. We always go to our classics.
you gotta go to. I mean, the first thing you think of. So all right. So a lot of people obviously give a lot of credit to Nirvana for kind of like kicking, the corporate rock and like the 80s hair metal out of things and changing things to 90s. And I definitely now love Nirvana and Stone Temple Pilots and all that stuff, Alice in Chains. But I feel like when I was a kid, I didn't really relate to the to Chris's idea, like people in factories with leaves blowing in and big fans and all that stuff. Like I still never got into that. And then Green Day comes out with this song where it's just like a guy on a couch and like them playing and like you can see that they have pimples and like they're like gross and disgusting, and like I was like, oh, this is kind of like relatable. And I think that song came out at a perfect time when I was still young. I was only like 8 or 9, but I remember like hearing that song and like getting like a popcorn can with like chopsticks and just like playing it like, this is fucking great, like I could do this kind of thing, and it just kind of hit right at the right time.
Yeah.
And I it's funny, this past weekend I went to my parents' house because they're like clearing out their house right now because and I went through a basement
Why are they
area.
clearing out their house? I'm sorry, I didn't.
They're in the process of like, just like, they're made downsize, or just, like a lot of people in quarantine just kind of clean things out. So I went down to like old like computer area and like TV area, and like went through all the video games, cassettes, CDs, all that stuff, and I found a whole bunch of like blanks cassettes, and I found one that was just like me as like an 8-year-old with just Green Day, and this song Longview was on there twice in a row with like exclamation points and like green Sharpie. So it obviously was a big thing for me at the time. So so I picked that one just because it obviously hit a chord. And the director went on to, I think, do pretty much all of Green Day's videos. He did Basket Case. He did When I Come Around. He did Michael Core, Mark Core, I think it was.
No, is it Michael?
I think it's Mark Core.
Oh, there's a dude that Michael something that did all the Stones videos too.
Okay,
I wonder if it's the same dude with a very similar name. So
back in the day, like when they showed these videos, they would always be artists.
Wait, what is that? Right? What did you say?
Show director.
Michael.
His
What?
name is Michael Bublé.
Mark Core.
Birds flying high.
None of us are picking Michael Bublé. Hey, Chris, my second choice for video was going to be Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire."
Ooh, that's a good one.
Ooh, good video. Good video.
Good video.
It's a good video.
Similar to Tim's story about his teacher, I'll always remember that there was a teacher that I had, I guess it was middle school. It was like one of those first days or whatever, and he started reading it, but he was so shocked by the lyrics. You know what I mean? Like British Beatlemania. Like he just read it like a poem. And I was like, are you gonna be fucking kidding? Are we gonna do the whole fucking song? You know what I mean? Everything is that shocking. Yes, it's a song about history. There's probably gonna be a lot of interesting references in here. I don't know what the
It's really just a big list, is it not?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I dig it, and I think the video is brilliant. Where does that rank for you, Chris?
I can't stand that song. I can't stand it.
And you know what? Neither can Billy Joel. He hates it.
Really?
He hates having to perform it. Again, covered in my book, talked about in my book. I found a quote.
Did you guys read my book?
This guy.
He hates it because it's such a hard song.
I
to
have
perform.
2.
I'm about to buy another one just so I have 2.
I have 2.
Hard to play, like, or is it just like annoying to play?
It's hard to sing because it's rapid fire wordplay
Yeah.
until the chorus.
He actually wrote it like a rap tune.
Mhm.
You know, and he was just making a list of, because at that time he literally turned 40.
Right.
So, he was turning
and
40.
somebody said to him, "Oh, your generation had it easy," and he sat down and said, "No, we didn't." And he sat down and wrote this, list of things that his generation had to go through.
Right.
I mean, I love the song. I don't know why you guys hate it, but I dig it. Yeah.
Did you just say you're going to perform it for a Pete? Oh, great.
Have at it, Pete.
Chris, would you perform it? Yeah.
It's just like, to borrow a line from a favorite movie of mine, late 80s Billy Joel sucks.
But I don't really agree with that though, because like isn't that the same record with I Go to Extremes?
Yes.
Oh, that's such a good
that was a great song.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that record's not as bad as people make it out to be.
He hasn't, but that album Stormfront, he used to make more complete records.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Until he got to the bridge. Like once Billy fell in love, we were all, once he fell in love with Christy, it was all over. That's when you got Tell Her About It. It was like, okay, what happened to the guy that was like, you went uptown riding in your limousine with your fine Park Avenue, and you go to,
yeah,
leave a tender moment alone. It's like,
man,
what happened to that guy?
Billy Joel binge tonight, I think. Yeah, I'm
gonna go watch all of his videos after this.
But I gotta tell you, I do dig that video. That was my second choice. Mike,
the video's great.
Mike picked out an amazing second choice. I'll let you say it since I don't have the clip.
It's the Band-Aid, Do They Know It's Christmas? And I first of all, I think it's a great song, especially compared to, the English artists got together and did this, and they threw it together in like 4 weeks, rushed the song out, rushed the video out, raised a ton of money. And then the American artists were like, oh shit, I guess we got to do something similar. And they came up with We Are the World, which is arguably the worst fucking song ever. So I love the fact that the English just kind of threw the thing together. It's such a great song. And then Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie came up with We Are the World.
The video for We Are the World. Well, I went down a little bit of a YouTube rabbit hole because of seeing the Band-Aid thing. And I was like, the We Are the World video, it's weird. It's fucking, I know the song sucks, but it is interesting to see all those people together for that one.
Dan Aykroyd's in that video, just so you know, it's the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, he is in that.
And here's the thing I love about Do You Know It's Christmas, and also the video. The line, tonight, thank God it's them instead of you, is really a shitty line when you think about it, but it's very true. Most of us would think that, but we would never say it. Yeah. But the fact that the song, I forget who wrote the song. No, it was Bob
Geldof.
Bob Geldof and Midge Ure. The fact that they kept that line, because I'm sure they wrote that line and then were like, we can't leave that in. And then they left it in, and then Bono delivers it with such passion.
Yes.
To me, that's my favorite line in the whole song, because it's something we all think, but just like when you pass a homeless guy in the street, most of us go, well, thank God it's him, but not me, but we would never voice that.
Right.
And they voiced that. And I just think that that's what makes that song so real compared to, again, the American version.
Now, I will say,
I had a friend.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No.
I had a friend that used to think, there's a line in the song that says, the greatest gift they'll get this year is life. Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right. My friend used to think that it was the greatest gift they'll get this year is flies.
I didn't hear the end of that.
The greatest gift they'll get this year is flies. Because every time you see a video of them in Africa, there's flies always flying around.
Oh my god.
Right. I said, it's life, you dumbass.
I always thought that was a Bono song. I didn't realize that it was Band-Aid until you just shared that with me. I didn't realize that there was a group of musicians. I've always heard that song at Christmas and just assumed it was a U2 thing. I didn't even know Sting was on it. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah.
And Sting hated the fact that his line has the word Sting in it. He didn't want to sing that line because he was like, no, it's goofy. Why am I singing a line? I forget what the line is, but the word Sting is in it. And they convinced him to sing. I didn't even realize
that. Missed that one.
Yeah.
Purposely.
And if you look, if you had the 45 back in the day, which I did, there's a group picture on the back, and Boy George is not a group picture. He actually performed in the States and then got on the Concorde and flew over to England to record it. He missed the group recording, so he's not in the picture, and he recorded his part later, which is why he's on the song, but he's not in the group picture.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, they got him in the video for sure. I do like We Are the World. I like a couple of things in We Are the World when I pop that video on.
Oh, please, Peter. I'm losing respect for you as we speak. I can't believe you like that song.
I don't. I love Bruce.
Yeah.
I do love that.
Yeah.
I love Bob Dylan.
Oh.
Because he adds that little bizarre Bob Dylan voice to it. And then I was like, maybe I don't hate Cyndi Lauper. Because she just comes at it like everyone's playing their characters. You guys, I wish really. Yeah, exactly.
Can I tell you the best part about We Are the World?
Go ahead.
When it's over?
That Prince didn't participate in. My favorite part of We Are the World, they gave him the song and he said, I'm not doing it. And he didn't participate.
Well, look, Mick and them did the show, the We Are the World show, whatever, that Live Aid, but they did not participate in either of those things either. So I'm also like, oh, thank God. Because he would have totally got involved with that back in that time period.
Yeah.
Singing with Hall & Oates and, doing all this solo shit. So
instead Mick dancing in the streets with Bowie, which is perhaps the worst video. if you want to look, we're speaking of videos right now. You want to look at the 2 worst music videos ever: "Dancing in the Streets" with Jagger and Bowie, and Billy Squier's "Rock Me Tonight." Those are
ruined a career. Ruined a career.
Ruined a career. Billy Squier.
Billy Squier.
Again. Yeah.
I've got a Billy Squier thing to talk about.
On the top of his game, he couldn't miss. And then that video came out, and everybody went.
McCartney and Michael Jackson's video is pretty awful as well. The Ebony and Ivory.
You mean Ebony and Ivory? You mean Stevie Wonder?
I think Wonder, McCartney and Michael Jackson, isn't that?
No, that's Stevie Wonder, Ebony and Ivory.
Yeah.
Well,
didn't Michael Jackson and
they did do a song together?
Yes. It wasn't Say. I like Say. Yeah. I like Say.
Yeah.
Ebony and Ivory, I'll agree with you.
Yeah. Awful. Huh? I thought the video had. I thought there was a music video with Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney. Maybe
it was. It was terrible.
Yeah, Say.
Yeah, it's awful. Yes.
Yep. No, that's a good one. Ebony and Ivory is horrendous.
Well, it's 2 people sitting at the piano. Right?
Yes, it's Ebony and Ivory. That's Stevie Wonder and Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney.
What is Tim has a Billy Squier story.
Oh, I had a quick rewind. On the same vein, I heard Billy Squier, and also obviously we were talking about Mike's pick. So 2 years before they did the We Are the World on MTV, Billy Squier was on, and he did a Christmas song called "Christmas Is the Time to Say I Love You."
Yes.
And it's a classic, like the whole cast of MTV came on and whatever. And so what's funny about it, or at least for me, and I just want to throw this out there, my buddy Nick, his dad was part of the company or group of people that started VH1 and MTV.
Oh, very cool.
So for some reason,
why don't we get Nick on here next week?
Get him on here.
Yeah.
His dad, it's mostly Billy Squier the whole time. They show him and then the VJs, because the VJs back in the day were huge. But then all of a sudden they cut to Nick's dad, and he's holding like a Santa puppet. I'll show you a clip here. He's holding a puppet right behind Billy Squier.
I don't even understand why that would be a thing.
I don't know why they cut to him, but it's a ridiculous moment in MTV history where Nick's dad is featured right behind Billy Squier.
Yeah.
So
now,
I thought that was.
One of the other.
I don't think I know that song.
I've never heard.
Christmas is the time to say I love you. It's a good Christmas.
So was that recorded? One of my favorite Christmas songs is "Reggae Christmas" by Bryan Adams, and it's a very similar video where they were dancing. It was an MTV party, and they were dancing around with all the DJs and stuff. I wonder if MTV did like a Christmas party.
Was it like a yearly thing for Christmas? I know they did the obviously they did the VMAs and obviously like New Year's Eve, but did they have like a Christmas thing maybe too back in the day?
Yeah, maybe they did. Yeah.
Ray brought up an interesting video before. I think you have to talk about it. Maybe we don't talk enough about enough female artists on this show, but you brought up Madonna's "Like a Prayer" video.
Yes, I did, because when I watched it when I was younger, I knew that she was trying to make some kind of I just knew, there's so much
crosses and stuff, right?
Yeah, burning crosses and like so many things that she was trying to say in that video. And as a kid, when you watched it, you're like, what the hell am I watching? What is this? Like, I knew it was like something that was meant to be bigger than what I was trying to understand, but I just knew, and it's always stuck with me, like that video. And, Madonna, she's controversial, but whatever. But that video just always was in my head. I was always like, that thing just stuck with me, those images of that type of thing. It was like jarring for a little kid to see,
Sure.
Was it the first like super duper like controversial video? Because that's 89, right?
I thought "Justify My Love" was the one.
Here he goes.
By the way, you guys are just lobbing these in for me again. Living on a Prayer, covered in my book. I talk about it in my book. Here was the great thing that she did. She struck a deal with Pepsi.
Well, Ray, don't buy it. I'll just send you a free copy.
Pepsi did a commercial with "Living on a Prayer," and then the very next day she released the video for it. Pepsi, because of the controversy, cut her as an artist, but she got to keep her money that she made from Pepsi.
Smart.
It was a brilliant move.
That video was just crazy. I just remember being like, holy shit.
All the way.
Well, what's funny, Ray? You remember the burning crosses. The most controversial part about that video was that she kissed a black man.
Oh, right. The other part of it.
It was
oh,
the black the saint is an African American man,
right.
and she wakes him up and they kiss. And I mean, talk about 30 years ago. Now, how much we changed. That was one of the big controversies of that video, is that a white woman is kissing a black man on TV,
which is crazy. I mean, it's crazy when you think about it. Like, come on, everybody. But back then, people were not nice. So it's like,
I don't know that people are any nicer.
I know.
We just moved the goalpost a little. That's all.
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean,
change
some of the shit that popped up today. I'm like,
I remember the controversy around that.
Really, not have grown at all in this world. I mean, I didn't even go there.
We have devolved in a certain sense. I know Peter and I, we both we talked about this briefly the other night. Like, you know, like what we think of as like controversial now versus the 80s and whatnot. But like Back to the Future just came, and then this is a side swipe. Back to the Future came out, and they got rid of the Ooh La La magazine from Back to the Future 2 on the Netflix release, and people are like, "That was the controversial thing."
I heard,
they blurred it out. Ooh La La magazine.
Some of the things that, like, some movies, some of the stuff that we actually did enjoy, we can't have today, like a Blazing Saddles.
No.
Oh yeah, never happened.
Archie Bunker would never. Archie Bunker could never exist.
And the Jeffersons.
Prime time.
And the Jeffersons.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. People even went nuts over the Simpsons, one of the Simpsons characters. So I mean, it's you know, it's a tough thing.
Yeah.
About
who knows if Madonna's video came out today, how people would react with how everybody is today. People go upset or something. You know, it's like, come on.
But she also, I mean, she's had a few like a Virgin. She's had a few, you know, serious provocative videos. Even Vogue, Justify My Love. You know,
Vogue had some.
Another one, George Michael's. I Want Your Sex. Was that the name of it? Is that what it?
The song itself was controversy in itself.
Yeah, just the title.
Yeah, and then you put up a video where like everybody's grabbing each other's asses and stuff like that on MTV in prime time in the 80s.
Yeah, the Stones got banned for a video called 2 videos because of violence. Undercover of the Night, which is a 80s song, and this from the same record, Too Much Blood. So that record's very violent. It's not a very good record, too, by the way. But
not a very good song. The song and the video are horrible, Peter.
Oh, they're so bad, and I'm like, so maybe they just banned it because they didn't want to play it.
Maybe right. MTV was like, you know, this sucks. Let's come up with a reason not to play it.
Yeah, I mean, the Stones get some weird controversies in the last years. Like there was that song that they had written about George Bush, but the song is awful. Yeah. I'm like, the song is so bad. Like
they're riding on the controversy, not the song.
Yeah, but you know, someone picks it up and then it becomes a story.
What about Michael Jackson's Black or White video? that caused some controversy, and that came out, when was that? 95, 90?
No, earlier than that.
Yeah.
What was the controversy about that, Ray? Was it the vandalism?
I think it was like him destroying the car. Like they cut
at
him
the very end of the video. The song is over, and it cuts to like this big vandalism. He's dancing.
91.
It's like a whole dance number at the end of the video, and they're just like destroying this car. And like this came out around the same time as the riots in LA.
Right. Yeah, got to be careful on the timing. You can destroy a car any other day, but if there's a riot,
just not during the riot.
You guys were saying about like
during Friends. Oh, I'm sorry, Ray.
No, Chris, go ahead.
During Friends, they used to do cut shots to the Twin Towers.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the tragedy happened, they had to go back in and edit out all those cut shots between scenes.
Really? They cut out the New York scene?
Featured the Twin Towers.
What an editor's nightmare.
Not Home
Can you imagine Tim working on
how many episodes in the can you have? It's like all
when
done.
You get that fucking call. When some
it's like that bullshit. Like
it says all the 9/11, all the Twin Tower stuff, it's got to come out. Come out of what? What are you talking about? Come out of what?
So, I just want to be clear about this.
Yeah.
3,000 people die, and you're upset that the editor has an extra job to do? I just want to be clear about that.
Can you imagine that amount of work?
I agree. The bigger tragedy is the editor's job.
I mean, but okay, I understand. But
we'll never forget. how hard it was to edit those
How
shots.
many hours he put in? You know how many hours he put in?
I won't be there for you, Peter. I won't be there for you.
At least
Listen,
3
I'm
hours.
just saying, the poor editor was probably like, "Are you fucking kidding?" Can you imagine that when he went home? They fucking brought this fucking edit. You know, I mean, you know how many?
It's like
They brought the
300
Chrysler
episodes.
building down. That's not in any of our shots.
And you're talking about cut shots. Like they get done doing the scene, and it's just a city shot before
what
they
do
go into the
replace it
next
with?
apartment.
The Empire State
It's just an
Building?
establishing shot, yeah. But I get where it's like the same thing happened. We're getting off topic probably, but Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man was they had the posters was Spider-Man. The trailer for the first Spider-Man movie was Spider-Man stuck between the two towers in a web.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's gotta go.
Totally
Perfect.
redo it, there's a whole stuff like that. Like it sucks. But
Mike, did you watch Jerry Seinfeld? We're off topic.
We're-
Jerry Seinfeld's most recent comedy show.
Oh my god, it was brilliant.
Brilliant.
3 hours to kill. Yeah.
I thought it was awful.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh really? Oh
Yeah.
my god, I was laughing the whole time.
But my feeling was I just feel I'm watching it at the wrong moment in time because there is so much about going out that's unrelatable right at this specific moment. Perhaps if I watch it maybe 2-3 months when things are opened again, I feel like the timing's a little bit off with that. Do you think so?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely recorded it pre-pandemic,
Sure.
and now it's dropped during the pandemic. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not buying into the pandemic as being permanent, so I'm thinking of this as all temporary anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was really, really well. I watched it and I laughed the whole time. Speaking of shit like that on Netflix, have you seen the David Spade movie? The Wrong
No, I
Scene?
want to see that. How is that?
I started.
Oh my
and
god,
stopped
it's
it.
terrible.
I
Now,
thought it
you're
was just
a
gonna,
Did
David
you like
Spade
it, Tim?
fan. Was that?
I thought he was
Did
gonna
you
say,
like
hey,
it, Tim?
speaking of shit, have you seen the Bill Murray stories?
I think Mike wrote about it in his book.
It's in his book.
That's funny.
Tim, what
I
have you
thought
been
the
doing?
I thought the David Spade movie was really well. It's worth checking out.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna. That's on my list of things to do. Did you guys see Ray's the thing that he executive produced? The Bill Murray story?
I don't want to talk about that.
I haven't. Where would I find it? I want
That's
to
on
see it.
Netflix.
I love Bill Murray.
Where
Yeah.
might
It's
want
on Netflix.
Tommy Avalone. Did I say it right?
Tommy Avalone.
He directed it,
Tommy
and
Avalone.
it's phenomenal. It's all of these. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of these kind of classic Bill Murray stories. He went into a bar, he did this thing.
You don't have to talk about this.
Yeah.
We're doing music stuff. I don't want to plug.
We're talking about
No,
Netflix.
Ray, it's
We're talking about
it's pop
Michael's
culture.
book.
I want to.
Yeah.
Michael's book.
No, it's good. It's a phenomenal movie. You guys should all check it out for sure.
I want
Okay,
to. I'm bookmarking it right now as we.
Tim,
speak.
you did have another video. Do we want we now? Here we go with Tim. This is the thing, Ray. Every week, right? Each one of us mentions Elton John, the Stones, and then Tim will throw a band that we've never heard of before.
I like it.
And I do like that he does that, I guess. But go ahead. What is your other video and
Okay,
story?
so I was thinking of videos that changed things and whatnot. And the first thing I thought was the Green Day because of what it was. And it's funny, I didn't even know at the time what that song was about, so I didn't learn about that song until way later. But anyway, this song came out in my high school years, and it literally was a line in the sand. You could definitely tell when we went to concerts before this song came out on a music video, and when the music video came out, we went to shows, and like, oh shit, everyone fucking saw that video, and it's changed everything. So is AFI's Leaving Song Part 2, and people in the video are karate dancing in the crowd, and for some reason everyone thought that's what we're going to do now when we go to shows, and everyone after that.
What year did you graduate high school, Tim?
I graduated in 2004.
Okay, so you're a couple years after me. So I
Ouch.
totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So okay, so Ray gets it.
I got it.
Yeah.
I graduated in '94.
Wait, did you go to
Okay.
shows where like people started karate dancing? I don't know. If
I didn't know what they were doing. I was like, "What the hell is that?" I was like a No Doubt concert. I'm like, "What the fuck?" It was
Yeah.
crazy.
It permeated different music. It wasn't just like hardcore music
No.
or punk music or all of a sudden everyone thought that's what you do at a show. You open it up and we just start punching the
I got
air
you.
and doing like you're Jackie Chan or something like that. And
I
so
didn't get it. It was weird.
it ruined shows for a couple years where everyone's like, I don't want to like everyone would just step back and be like, all right, just do your thing, I guess, and I'll try to enjoy the music. Yeah, so as much as they made a nice video that was very powerful, it influenced a lot of people into, I don't know, changing
whatever
the
that was. It was so weird, but I'm there with you. What were you gonna say, Pete? Were you gonna say something?
No, I was just gonna say that being a Stones fan, I'm a fan of an older band. So when I was back in '94, when I was in school and somebody was talking about the new video, I'd be like, "Oh, Love Is Strong," the new Voodoo Lounge thing where they're walking on buildings. I have no fucking clue about anything that other than from watching Beverly Hills 90210. I would have no idea of anything that was new or coming out or whatnot.
Because of the artists in the Peach Pit at the end of each show.
Yeah, that's about what I knew was what was happening through that show for sure. Yeah, that was a cheap plug for my Beverly Hills 90210 show podcast. You can find out tomorrow. Hey, so listen, I think we rocked this conversation.
Yes.
I want to give each of you sort of a moment to talk about a little bit about this virus and how we're all doing. Or do you feel like we're getting to the end of this for the wedding guys? Do you feel like you're going to be at a wedding anytime soon, Chris?
Short answer, no. If we're lucky, because of Mein Fuhr here in the state of New Jersey, if we're lucky, we may be able to start doing weddings again in August, if we're lucky. Yeah. And the reason why I say if we're lucky is, and Mike, you can jump in because I'm north, you're south. But the thing here is, it's not will we be able to get back to work again. He might give the all clear in 2 weeks, but the damage has already been done.
Correct.
People are the biggest problem that he did is he went on TV and he opened his mouth and he said, we might not get back to work again until there's a vaccine.
He did say that.
And because he said those words, somebody like that's educated might understand that he might have said it for effect.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're talking to maybe one of our brides,
who's on edge as is,
now they run to their Facebook chat room and now they're all going at each other.
I mean,
and I'm getting calls for November that want to cancel, to move their dates.
Yes.
Because they're afraid of I'm not wearing masks at my wedding. Grandma's not coming to my wedding.
Yeah.
And, by then this might, maybe one hot summer, burn this whole thing off. I mean, you went from having people saying that you have to bleach your food from the stores. You got to bleach your counters to now that's right on the surfaces now.
It is.
We don't have any full education. Look, I know people are sick. I know what's going on. That's the truth. But to come in a position of power and to say something that can dramatically affect the livelihood and lives of millions of people without pure fact is irresponsible.
Mike, what do you think about weddings? Where do you see? I mean, I know we're off topic here, but I'm just asking you this because I haven't caught up with you in a while. Where are you? I mean, like I said, all my Julys have now postponed. I have one holdout that's hoping. She's July 10th. I don't know if she's watching, but it's probably not happening. You know what I mean? It's not a likelihood that event is going to happen. But she probably just tuned in. It is.
No. July 10th. Can't wait.
No, but I mean, what do you think? Are you seeing I'm seeing people no longer moving from like July to September. I'm seeing July to July.
Right. Yeah, we're seeing more. I'll take the same weekend next year in 2021. But we have a number of Julys that are still on the book. We have a lot of August that are still booked and September. I'm rooting for Ohio. Ohio starts this weekend allowing weddings up to 300 people. And I think they will. I think they will lead the country. If a month from now there are flare-ups in Cincinnati and Cleveland and Columbus and everywhere else, then I think it's going to bode really poorly for our industry. But if a month from now, and this is why I'm praying and rooting for it, there are no major flare-ups in those cities, then I think we can start moving forward as an industry. So
Ohio.
I'm rooting for Ohio.
Tim, from the video's perspective, what are you dealing with? Same stuff?
So, I mean, yeah, we're all dealing with the same scenario day by day, getting further and further, postponements and stuff. I had a October today moved to next October. But on the same token, I've had a lot more inquiries. I did a Zoom wedding a week and a half ago.
Have you done any of those? The DJs, have you guys done a Zoom wedding, or is that not a possibility?
The thing that I might start bringing up.
What did you do? You set up the technology so that they could Zoom.
I set up 2 cameras and I recorded on Zoom. So I recorded everyone's reactions basically. And then, so it was live and we showed the wedding live, the first dance live, and a toast.
So was there a DJ in the mix of that?
The DJ was like a friend who they put it on like an iPod onto a Bose speaker and did like the ceremony intro. And it wasn't great.
Got it.
It would have been way better if we had a professional DJ because I couldn't tap in, all that kind of stuff. It would have been better. Also because people couldn't hear the music as well as if a DJ was there, or a band was there, I could have tapped into or mic'd or something of that nature. Anyway, plug for you guys. But yeah, it's a thing that I've seen a small enclave of people that are going for like the small backyard weddings, and it seems like a small kind of trend. But obviously, again, Mike, I hear you rooting for Ohio to see if they can pull it out, and if they do, especially I think there's a momentum right now, at least on social media that I'm seeing. People are just like, we're slowly going into the let's fucking just try. I
agree.
Now listen, Mike, you obviously had a serious situation. I don't think it's any more serious affected by this virus, right? You still think people should open in all this, or where are you on that?
I think we should open cautiously. I'm not saying that we should all just start, going to the Ozark Lake and swimming, like they were over the weekend. But I do think we need to start returning to some practicality. I think Sweden may have had the answer, and it's too early to know whether Sweden handled it correctly. But Sweden basically said, old people stay home, stay sheltered, but young people who are much less likely to die from this or even have a bad cold from this, go about your business. And I think in the long run, per capita, we might have more deaths than Sweden.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you about the way we handled it as opposed to other countries? I don't blame, you know me on social media. I'm not a big Trump fan.
Right. I don't.
And I lean left, but I also don't blame I don't blame Trump. I don't blame Murphy. I don't blame Cuomo, because this is so unprecedented. We've never been through anything like this. So there's no book, there's no guideline, there's no precedent. So I really don't blame anyone for the reaction. I think every politician has made their best decision they could make based on the information they had available to them.
Yeah. Ray, very interesting for Ray. He had a brand new baby just as this was happening. They were in the hospital when the virus was hitting.
Wow. Congratulations, Papa.
Wow. Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, my wife had our fourth child, and we were in the hospital. It was the Friday the 13th was the day after she was born. So the day that she was born was like the day they declared this a pandemic. They were like temperature checking us at the hospital. Like I remember we walked in the emergency room because she was getting induced, and in the emergency room was an elderly woman who was at least in her 80s, just in a wheelchair in front of one of the rooms with a mask on. And I was like, get up to that room, have that baby, and we're fucking going home. I was like so nervous. Like I was so nervous. We got home, and then we got thrust into homeschooling, and we got thrust into all this other stuff. But
how old's your oldest right now?
So I have an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and then this newborn. So
okay.
And that's why he's having us on a podcast right now.
That's why I'm 4 deep. No, no, I think it's affected us in a different type of way. Like we're on lockdown. I have diabetes, so I'm not like risking anything. Like I have not. The only time I left the house is to like go drop my son's work off at school. Like I can't take that risk of like bringing anything back for my daughter. My father-in-law, my in-laws live with us in a separate house. He's a FedEx driver. So he's been off of work for a little bit, and when he goes back, like we're trying to figure out what to do. It's a lot of just confusing things, and you're right, Mike. Like we've never been through anything like this before, so we're kind of learning as we go, which is tough. It's tough.
Don't get me wrong. I know this is a serious thing. I mean,
Sure.
Mike is a friend of mine in the industry, and again, I'm sorry, Mike, about that. And I know a lot of other people who passed away from this thing. But it's at what point do we have to sit back and say, are we going to be shut in for like another 2 years? These are microbes. You're not outrunning them. I'm not going to be one of the first people that it normally takes 3 years to prove a vaccine. And they're going to try to rush it out in a year. Are you taking it? I ain't taking it.
What happens a year after you take it? What happens after you take it? You don't know,
There's just too much that we're either not being told or don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
This is the most confused that I've ever been. I can't formulate an absolute on this.
Yeah.
There's no certainties because the information is just so broad and it changes.
Ever evolving.
Who you talk to.
Yeah, totally.
It is a crazy thing. Mike, I want to let you know I love you, man, and I know you've been through a lot this couple weeks. I appreciate you coming on here and hanging out with us. Every time we've gone to a Met game, you've always talked about your dad in such a beautiful, beautiful way. And
I wore this tonight because of him, and he introduced me to baseball. I'll never go to a baseball game again without thinking of him, and I'm fortunate that I have tons of great memories to tap into. Whenever I get sad about my dad, I think about some of the great times, and it does help cheer me up.
That's good to hear.
Sorry for your loss, Mike.
Chris,
sorry.
What's that? Go ahead, Ray. I'm sorry.
I just said sorry for your loss. When I came in, you guys were talking about it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ray. And I'm sorry for yours. And you lost your father a lot earlier in your life than I did. And that's one of the things that I'm grateful for. I mean, as sad as I am that I lost my dad, I'm 54. I had my dad till I was 54. That's a lot later in life than a lot of people have their father. And so I wish I had him for an extra 10 years. And if it wasn't for coronavirus, I probably would have. But at least I'm at this age, and I still have memories of my dad.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Chris, I want to give you a chance to close this out because I know we've had you on a few times and you did a little podcast about your son, and we're here and we're doing music therapy. So I thought, why not talk a little bit about this and what happened with you? And I know on the 24th of every month you do a kindness for Christopher and all that. So I want you to talk a little bit about that and kind of lead us where you are now with everything that happened with you.
Kindness for Christopher got started a month after Christopher passed away. And it was really actually made by his example. He was just a one-of-a-kind kid. He would go out of his way to do things. He was a 10-year-old boy. And for him to do things kind for people, unnudged, unpushed, all on his own, and it was started, and it's a movement. It's not a charity. It's not about money. It's about on the 24th of every month. We want everybody to be kind every day, but on the 24th of every month, at least like Christopher, be a reminder to be kinder and do one random act of kindness for somebody. This will be Christopher's 5th year. Next month, June 24th, will be Chris's 5th year not here. That has flown. It is unbelievable how fast time goes. But the grief doesn't get better, but it gets different and it changes. And you just peel another layer and another layer. He inspires me still. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about him, my wife or I. Right after he passed away, about 6 months after he passed away, we found out we were pregnant again. And he's going to be 4 this July.
That's awesome.
And that's like, we're just sitting here and, this pandemic it's been a godsend because, ever since Chris passed away, I haven't stopped. And this is one of the first times where I've actually taken stock and stopped and look around what's real important. One of the things that I said right after he passed away, and I try to teach everybody, is we constantly worry about the wrong shit. You know, there's no roof racks on a hearse. You're not taking it with you. You know, you can buy things. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. And that's what's really the biggest takeaway is what did we do with our time during our pandemic? And, you know, Mike, I feel for you because I've been now like, you know, sort of kind of like a grief guru, you know, and you're just getting started. And some of the things that you're doing, I lost my mother last June too, believe it or not. And one of the things is you're doing it right. You know, I mean, if there was a right or a wrong, there's no handbook. Okay. But, you know, you said it, you're saying it best by saying I have memories and these are the things that have been, you know, carrying me through this thing. And that's fantastic. But, you know, you have to be able to let it out too. And whatever that means, you know, Kindness for Christopher helps with us. I mean, I'm lucky I have the outlet of music. You know, I've spent a lot of time during this thing just being down here and creating music for the love of music again. You know, Mike, Bon Jovi said it best, and Mike is the one that actually turned me on to this. Bon Jovi says, if you can't do what you do what you can. And, man, that has sat with me for this whole pandemic. And whether it's you're doing it for your fellow man or doing something outside the box, something you've never thought of doing before. Something, you know, you would have never thought of. You know, listen, I wanted to get better piano chops. My piano chops, I wanted to learn how to do some of the video stuff. I wanted to learn. I'm still finishing the touches on my book. Then we could talk about that on this thing and leave before Mike.
we got a title yet?
Yeah, I mean, I'll run the promo, the whole nine. Yeah.
Get a title, get a website. Come on, Chris.
Yeah, and to come. But you know, I just released today. I'm getting ready to release an EP. You know, everybody should have that kind of a bucket list with them. But above all, take this time with family, man. I mean, we're all working so hard. Do the stuff that you've always wanted to do and said you'd do if you had more time. Now you got it.
I mean, I don't think it can get any better said. Ray, do you want to been through a lot for a very long time? Do you have anything to follow up with what those guys are talking about?
Me?
Yep.
Yeah. You know, I guess for me, it's like it's the grief of like the loss of something like that. And it just never goes away. Like you think about it differently, you learn to live with it, but it's just always something that's like in the back of your mind with everything that you do. So like anything I do, I'm like, oh man, like I wish I could tell my dad, or I wish I could just have one more beer with my dad to kind of, or what would he be doing during this pandemic? Like that sense of loss and stuff like that, it never goes away. It just changes over time, like Chris was saying. So I'm just trying to live my life now with just like a sense of just get my kids through this, get my wife through this. Let's just come out of this as better people and focused on different things, like what's important right now. You know, lots of people we're buying lots of stuff online. We're doing a lot of that stuff. It's like, is this stuff important? Sure, there's things that you need, but like, you know, wants and needs are something I'm really going through a lot in my head right now, you know, and I just want to get through this pandemic. You know, I want to get through this and I want to just get through this.
We learned what we don't need through this pandemic.
Totally.
My car got 30 days to the gallon. You know, I mean, the only thing you need are the basic stuff, man. Food, water, shelter, and love. Yeah, I mean, working plumbing. But seriously, if that hasn't shown you anything, that's all we really need.
Yeah, totally.
When it comes down to the basic stuff, I mean, I haven't ordered anything off Amazon except for 2 monitors for my studio because I blew out the other ones.
Right.
But other than that, I just don't
rocking out.
Need anything.
Blowing out monitors.
No.
Yeah. Well, whoops.
Whoops. God, man, I love doing this with you guys because we always talk about so much deep stuff. Mario says, sorry for your loss, prayers to you and your family. And I think that's all we can really end on because you're all going through a lot of your own struggles. We all are. So in different ways, for sure. So the best to all you guys. And we'll be back again soon for more records that shaped us. Sound good?
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having me on, Peter.
All right. Great, guys.
Later.
Later.
Good night, everybody.